Okay, we've done our big thinking and now we are thinking back. So the learning outcomes of this video are to identify recurring themes from personal reflection and some quantitative and qualitative data that is available to you, and then to use these themes to set yourself 2 or 3 key areas for development which you can use to enhance your scheme of work. So what information is available to you? Well, we can start with student achievement data, so you can get a breakdown of the achievement results for your module from your course leader. So, were your students successful in achieving the module learning outcomes overall? What was the pass rate? You could perhaps look at the mean and median grades as well, and if they are kind of around the norm, or if they're lower or higher than most modules. And ask yourself if the results were as you expected, from what you know of your previous students. More specifically, you can have a look at the assessment feedback and think back to the marking that you did. What the students tend to struggle with, and were there any themes from the feedback that surprised you? What were the things that really stood out when you were marking the work, or if you didn't mark it yourself, perhaps that you noticed in the moderation? And then you can also think about the external feedback on assessment. So it's likely that your assessment will have been moderated. So have a look at that moderation form, go back to it, ask your course leader if you can't find it to have a look at it again. And ask yourself, did moderators highlight any aspects that you hadn't considered before? Did they raise any issues? Is there anything in the action plan that they've advised you to look at for next year that is going to affect how you create your scheme? And then think about external examiners as well. So by the time you write your scheme, you might not have had our external examiner report through just yet, but your course leaders and I can actually let you know what the external examiners said at the exam boards, and you can also have a look at the reports from the previous year. So have they picked out anything either specific to your module or just general that they've noticed about student work that you could work on? So student attendance is another useful bit of data. You can get a breakdown from your course leader for each module as well. So were there any trends in the attendance data, and how do these relate to your scheme of work? Can you actually go back and look at the week by week attendance and look at your scheme and notice anything about that? And then think about how you might make the most of term 1. We all know that term 1 attendance is far better than term 2 and massively better than term 3. So you might want to front load some of the important stuff in term 1 to make the most of that really good attendance. And then student feedback. So you will remember encouraging all the students to do the module evaluation survey on Moodle this year, and those results are now available for you to view. You can check them out by going to the module page, clicking the feedback link, the little orange link, and you will see for each question a graph of the results, and then the really useful bit at the end, I think, are the comments from students, so the ways you can improve and the things they really enjoyed about the module. Now take it with a pinch of salt. There's always a few people in the class that either don't take it seriously or maybe have an external issue that's affecting the way that they're giving feedback to you. But there will be some useful things in there. So, what do students enjoy that you can do more of? What feedback do you have about the teaching and learning activities? Are students generally enjoying the way that you are delivering the content and the skills? Do you have any sense of how students feel in your lessons? Are they at ease? Do you need to make it more welcoming? Do you need to address personal development? Or do you need to put more support in for issues like anxiety? This might be the case for some of the performance modules, for example. So yeah, see what you make of that. And then you've got your observation feedback. So you should have been observed this year. Go back to that. What was your deliberate area of practice? Is it something that you can build into your scheme? Did you make any successful changes last year following from your observation that you can continue to develop in your scheme? And then just general self-reflection. So I'm sure that you'll have lots of ideas about what went well this year, what didn't go so well, what things you know already that you want to improve, and really have a think about how the year went, as I'm sure you're all doing anyway, and we'll pick out some of the key things that emerge from that. So, what does this tell you about your teaching and about your planning for the year ahead? So, some things you might do: you might refocus, spend more time actively engaging students in tasks that they've found particularly challenging. You might include more group activities that encourage the application of skills in practical context. You might set more specific homework tasks or include more supporting resources on Moodle. You might embed some specific transferable skills earlier in the year. And it might be that as you're looking through all of this data and this feedback and thinking about the past year, that some of the core concepts we've looked at might help you approach things in a slightly different way this year. And so, no one's goals are going to look the same. I can't tell you, and I don't want to tell you what your areas of development are at this point. It's your reflective practice as a teacher, and it's ultimately up to you to decide how you want to develop. And of course, this might be a little different for you if you haven't taught the module before. So it's a really good idea to talk to the current module leader if you can. Often they're still around. Or it might be a new module that's come over from Sussex. So you might find it useful to get in touch with the Brighton or Manchester module leader for your module and just get an idea about their experience. Although teaching at a different college will have its own kind of nuances and stuff, there should be things that are still useful for you as you're taking on one of the Sussex modules. And if you look at the advice and guidance for level 4 tutors, the short walkthrough video, you'll see how you can get their contact details. And you can feed all of this stuff into your module leader report if you are a mod, and kill two birds with one stone, really. So when you submit your scheme, we'll ask you to briefly evaluate how you've improved it and taking these reflections into account. If you do this work now, when you come to write your module leader report, which you submit a little bit later on in August, it covers a lot of the same things, so writing that will be much easier once you've done this. And now you can move on to the next video once you've done your reflection and begin writing or rewriting your scheme.